All right, you're 19 years old now, a Roman bride. Congratulations, if that word still means anything. It's too late to run anyway. It's the year 89 CE during the reign of Emperor Domitian. Your name is Flavia. You come from a respectable household. And tonight, Rome is going to show you what marriage actually means. Not the saffron veil, not the scattered walnuts, not the songs and laughter spilling through the streets. The other part, the part no one bothers to write down. You're barefoot on cold marble. The floor leaches warmth from your skin. Torches crackle along the walls, hissing as smoke crawls upward and stains the ceiling. 7 witnesses stand behind you, still and silent, like carved pillars. They're not here to admire you. They're not here to celebrate. They're here to make sure you do exactly what a Roman wife is required to do. And no one thought to explain the details until now. Of course they didn't. You take a step forward toward the wooden shape waiting in the corner of the room, draped in heavy cloth. Your hands are shaking so badly, you tuck them into your sleeves, hoping no one notices. Everyone notices anyway. No one offers help. No one looks away. Your mother's voice echoes in your head, the way it did this morning as she braided your hair with trembling fingers. Do not resist. Whatever they require, do not resist. Now you understand why she cried. Here's something Rome never pretends otherwise about. Marriage is not romance. Marriage is transfer. Your father signed you away. Your husband received you. You are the property. The contract is the ceremony. Your body is the receipt. Welcome to adulthood, Roman style. You're still thinking about the noise outside, the men shouting obscene wedding songs, laughing too loudly, because Rome believes laughter scares away evil spirits. Maybe it does. Or maybe it's just an excuse for grown men to shout instructions at a terrified teenage bride. You decide. Marcus Petronius Rufus, your new husband, 25 years older than you, carried you over the threshold earlier tonight. It was meant to be sweet. It wasn't. It was a reminder. Once, brides were dragged inside whether they wanted to enter or not. Now the door is already shut. The noise fades. The silence presses in, heavier than the walls. You finally see the room clearly. The prenuba stands near the center, the senior woman who controls every moment of this night. A priest waits beside her. 3 female slaves hold basins and folded cloths. A physician stands off to one side, a leather bag resting neatly at his feet. And in the corner, still waiting, the draped wooden shape. It's crowded for something everyone insists is private. The prenuba takes your hands. Her grip is firm, practiced, impersonal, like she's catching an animal that might bolt. You are now in your husband's house, she says. Translation: you belong here now. She guides you forward. You feel the witnesses staring into your back like nails being pressed into wood. Rome loves witnesses. Rome trusts nothing without documentation, signatures, and enough people to swear it happened. Survival here has rules. You learn them fast, or you break. Rule 1. Keep your head down and your mouth shut. You pull the cloth away. There it is. A wooden figure carved into a shape Rome rarely names out loud. Mutunis Tutunis, a fertility god. A god brides must greet before their husbands are allowed anywhere near them. The shape leaves no room for confusion. Its purpose becomes clear as the prenuba begins to explain what you must do. Mutunis Tutunis was Rome's deity of fertility and sexual initiation. We know he existed because ancient writers mention him only briefly, and always with visible discomfort. Centuries later, as Christianity swallowed Rome, St. Augustine wrote about the ritual with open outrage. Roman brides, he said, were required to perform a seated offering involving the statue, a sacred duty, a necessary step before consummation. You freeze. The room waits. The pronuba leans closer, her voice low, controlled, unyielding. You must ask his blessing, she says. You must offer yourself as tradition requires. Your stomach drops. Your mother's warning finally clicks into place. And here's the part no one told you. This ritual isn't symbolic. It's procedural. This is Rome's first verification step. The witnesses shift closer. The priest murmurs a prayer that sounds more memorized than believed. The physician adjusts his stance, already preparing for his role. You stand trapped between tradition, carved wood, and a truth that settles deep in your bones. You are not here to be honored. You are here to be confirmed. The prenuba steps behind you, repositioning you with brisk efficiency. No gentleness, no privacy. Just hands, commands, and eyes watching every movement. They call it sacred. You can already tell it's bureaucracy dressed in religion. Rome never says this part out loud, but it's true. Every ritual tonight exists because men demand proof. Proof you were untouched. Proof you obeyed. Proof that any children born from this marriage will belong to your husband, and not to someone shouting songs outside earlier tonight. You are not a partner in this marriage. You are evidence. The prenuba gives instructions in a calm, practiced tone. The voice of someone who has overseen this too many times to feel anything about it anymore. The witnesses lean forward, not close enough to intervene, just close enough to remember. Your knees tremble, your face burns. You do it anyway. Because Rule 2 is simple. Refusal is punished, and Rome never pays the price. Women do. When it's over, the slaves move fast. One brings a bronze basin, another pours scented water over your arms, washing you as if rinsing an object back to neutral. You're shaking, but no one meets your eyes. They've done this before. They'll do it again tomorrow. The priest mutters another prayer. Even he sounds bored. Roman religion isn't tender. It isn't comforting. It's a checklist. Gesture, offering, smoke, done. Your body has just been added to the list. Then the physician steps forward. He's older. His hair is pulled back neatly. The leather bag stays close to his side. He doesn't greet you. He doesn't need to. You're not a patient. You're a case. He examined you earlier before the ceremony. That was the before. The record confirming your virginity is already sealed. Now he needs the after. The prenuba nods. The witnesses shift again. You stare at the floor and stop thinking. The physician works with cold efficiency, the same way someone inspects grain shipments or livestock. To him, you are not a frightened girl on her wedding night. You are property being verified. He finishes quickly and delivers a short, clinical statement. A slave records it on a wax tablet. If your husband ever drags you into court, these 7 people will swear they saw everything. You want to scream. You don't. Screaming was never one of your options. The prenuba announces that the rituals of preparation are complete, which means the real ordeal hasn't even started yet. They lead you toward the bedchamber. The door is left open on purpose. Oil lamps line the walls, their flames steady and bright, refusing to flicker. Shadows stretch and slide across the stone like they're watching too. This isn't intimacy. This is inspection. Marcus enters last. Your husband. He doesn't look at you right away. His eyes go instead to the prenuba, like a student waiting for a signal he's afraid he might miss. That surprises you. You expected authority, confidence, certainty. Instead, he looks like a man about to sit for an exam he didn't study for. You sit on the edge of the bed. The sheets feel coarse beneath your fingers. You try to keep your hands still. They won't cooperate. The Praenuba speaks the formal words she's repeated for decades. The gods have blessed this union. Let the marriage be consummated according to the laws of Rome. The sentence lands heavy, like iron links dropping across your chest. The room feels smaller, your breath shortens, and then the realization arrives, sharp and late. Everything so far was just preparation. The real verification hasn't even begun. The door stays open, the lamps stay bright. You sit there trying to breathe like a normal person, while every rule Rome has ever invented presses down on your ribs. Marcus finally looks at you. Not with desire, not with tenderness. He looks at you the way a merchant checks a shipment for damage. Welcome to Roman marriage. Romance optional, verification mandatory. He sits beside you. The bed creaks under his weight. The Praenuba clears her throat. It's not a suggestion, it's a signal. In the hallway, the witnesses shift, close enough to hear everything. That's the point. Museum plaques never mention this part. Roman consummation wasn't private. It was legal. A stamped document, except the document is you. Marcus tries to touch you gently at first. Maybe he's trying to be kind. Maybe he's terrified. It's hard to tell. His hand hovers before settling on your shoulder, awkward and uncertain, like he's afraid you might break. You don't. But something inside you folds in on itself, quietly. He keeps glancing toward the doorway, toward the Praenuba, toward the physician's shadow just beyond her, like someone might step in and explain how this is supposed to work. Here's the cruel truth no one warned either of you about. You're both trapped. He has to perform. You have to comply. They have to witness. Everyone has a role. No one is allowed to leave. You lie back because there's nowhere else to go. The sheet scratches against your skin. Your hands won't stop shaking. Marcus whispers something meant to comfort you. You don't hear it over your own heartbeat. The Praenuba steps forward briefly, adjusts positioning, checks alignment. Yes, that really happens. Then she steps back and nods, like a teacher waiting for a student to pass an exam. Eventually, awkwardly, quietly, Marcus does. The tension in the room never breaks. The witnesses listen for what they came to hear. Not emotion, not humanity. Evidence. When it's over, Marcus pulls away quickly, like he's ashamed of how it felt, or how little it felt. You're not sure which is worse. You try to sit up, but the slaves are already moving. Towels, water, cloths, their hands are efficient and fast. The night isn't finished, not even close. Here comes the part you were never meant to like. The physician returns. He steps into the room like he's resuming work after a brief pause. To him, that's exactly what this is. He stopped 10 minutes ago. He doesn't apologize. He doesn't hesitate. He doesn't pretend this is uncomfortable. Why would he? To him, tonight is just a sequence of checks. The Praenuba steps aside to give him space. The witnesses lean closer to the doorway. You instinctively pull the sheet over your legs. He gestures for you to move it. You do. There's nothing left to refuse with. He opens the leather bag. Metal tools clink softly. The sound slices straight through you. Heat floods your face. Your throat tightens until swallowing feels impossible. Marcus steps back, rubbing his hands together as if he's cold, even though the room is suffocating. The physician begins. Efficient, detached, clinical. He narrates what he sees in short, stiff phrases meant for the witnesses, not for you. A scribe repeats each phrase aloud, pressing the words into a wax tablet. This doesn't feel like medicine. It feels like inventory. At one point you flinch, just a reflex. The physician pauses, not to comfort you, but to frown, irritated, as if your body's response is slowing him down. The pre-nuba watches with her arms folded, expression unreadable. She's overseen dozens of brides, maybe hundreds. Whatever you're feeling, she buried her reaction years ago. Finally, the physician steps back. He wipes his hands clean. Then he delivers the verdict. Consummation verified. That's it. The witnesses nod. That's what they came for. Not your safety, not your dignity, the proof. With those words, the transformation becomes permanent, legal, final. There is no going back. The slaves begin resetting the room, folding linens, trimming lamps, moving with calm efficiency. It feels disturbingly normal, like they're closing after a dinner party instead of stepping over the remains of your childhood. The pre-nuba dismisses the witnesses. They shuffle away, murmuring to one another. The scribe snaps the wax tablet shut. Marcus exhales deeply. The sound of a man relieved that the worst obligation of his life is behind him. You remain seated on the edge of the bed, gripping the sheet like it's the only solid thing left. Your thoughts feel scattered, like broken pottery you don't know how to piece together. Marcus approaches again, slower this time. His posture is hesitant, almost apologetic. He murmurs something about rest, about tomorrow being easier, about you doing well. You don't answer. You don't trust your voice. The pre-nuba orders wine, strong wine, the kind meant to quiet the body so sleep happens whether the mind agrees or not. Marcus leaves. His footsteps fade down the corridor. You are finally alone, or as alone as a Roman wife is ever allowed to be. The door never fully closes. Someone is always close enough to hear. You lie down carefully. The lamps dim. The house settles, and the truth sinks in, slow and heavy. What happened tonight wasn't the end of anything. It was the beginning. The beginning of the life Rome expects you to live. The wine dulls the edges but doesn't erase a thing. Nothing could. Not after everything Rome carved into you in a single night. You stare up at the ceiling beams. Somewhere in the house, a water clock drips steadily, measuring time the same way Rome measures women. Quietly, relentlessly, without mercy. You think you're alone? You're not. A slave girl sits just out of sight, stationed there in case you need anything. Which really means in case you scream, run, or break loudly enough to disturb your husband's sleep. You turn toward the wall. Your body feels heavy from the wine, but your mind stays sharp, replaying everything. The songs, the contracts, the statue, the examinations, the hands guiding you, positioning you, approving you. At some point, the pre-nuba appears in the doorway. She doesn't speak. She watches you for a few seconds, assessing whether you've broken yet. Then she nods and leaves. The door stays ajar. It always will. A Roman wife's privacy is a myth. Hours pass before the house finally sinks into silence. Lamps burn low, corridors empty, and in that quiet, the thought you've been avoiding finally settles in. This wasn't your wedding night. This was your initiation, not into love, not into partnership, into a system older than any temple, harder than any law, colder than any winter Rome will ever know. A system built on verification, on observation, on control. You curl your knees toward your chest. Even that small movement aches. The sheet smells of oil, smoke, and faint metal from the physician's tools. You close your eyes. Rome doesn't disappear. Rome is still there. A soft sound at the doorway pulls you back from the edge of sleep. Marcus clears his throat. He isn't here to touch you. He isn't here to comfort you. He isn't here to apologize. Custom requires that he check on his new wife once more before the night fully ends. He stands awkwardly in the dim light, shifting his weight from one foot to the other. Without the witnesses, without the pre-nuba directing him, without the physician waiting with his tools, he looks smaller, older, almost embarrassed. Not ashamed of what happened, but of how it felt, or how little it felt. Rest, he murmurs. Tomorrow will be easier. You don't answer. You're not sure you believe him. You're not sure he does either. He lingers, as if there's something else he might say. But Rome trained him too. Trained him not to question the structure that shaped him. Trained him to see you not as a person, but as something he now owns. A right, a responsibility, a duty. He turns and leaves. The silence returns. At dawn, the house wakes before you're ready. Footsteps, low voices, the sound of obligation arriving whether you want it to or not. The Prenuba comes first. Her eyes sweep the room, your posture, your face, the bed. She nods once, satisfied. The transition is complete. Slaves follow her in with warm water, oil, and fresh linens. You are washed again, perfumed again, rearranged again, rebuilt into the shape Rome expects a matron to take. Your wedding night is officially over. The rituals are not. There is one final task. The witnesses assemble in the atrium for the morning affirmation. The physician reads his brief record. The pre-nuba delivers her testimony. Marcus presses his seal into the wax tablet. You stand beside him, silent, not a participant, an attachment. When it's finished, the tablet is placed among Marcus's household records, the same place he keeps contracts for land, grain shipments, and debts owed. Your first entry in his archive, verified property, as the house slips into its daily rhythm, slaves sweeping, merchants arriving, cooks preparing the morning meal, you find yourself standing in the doorway of the chamber where everything happened. The bed is remade, the lamps extinguished, the tools gone. But the memory is carved into the space. You wrap your arms around yourself, not from cold, from instinct. An instinct Rome never taught you how to silence. For the first time since you arrived, daylight fills the house. And in that light, you finally see it clearly. This is your world now. These rooms are your boundaries. These people are your witnesses. This man is your owner. This body no longer belongs to you. But there is something no ritual ever mentions, something no pre-nuba ever teaches, something no physician ever records. Roman wives learn how to survive this system not by forgetting and not by accepting, but by enduring. By mastering the quiet rebellion of lasting longer than the system expects. You take a slow breath. Your life as Flavia, Roman wife, has begun. Rome expects you to be silent, but inside, in the place no witness can reach, no pre-nuba can inspect, no physician can measure, you are not silent. Not anymore. Not ever again.